Let's look at how we can add an entry field to our window so that the user can input text. Open your label demo file and save as text field demo. And before we get started, let's change our class here from label demo to text field demo. And let's give an appropriate doc string. And then, of course, down here in main, we need to set it up so that it calls the appropriate class. All right, double check yours, make sure that it appears like mine. The goal of this project is going to allow the user to enter some text, and we are going to convert that text to all uppercase letters and then print it back to a input field that will be set to read only so that the user cannot change the contents of that text field. After our init self easy frame, we're going to have the self parameter, and then we're going to apply title text field demo. We're going to have a label and a field for the input. Because we need to address this input field later on, we are storing it in a variable called input field. But to add a text field, it is add text field. And we'll set it initially to an empty state. Oh, and that's supposed to be column, not column. Okay, so here is the code that we need for our output section. We'll have a label that says output, and then we'll have a text field that begins empty, and its state is read only, which means the user can't actually add anything to this text field. Because we are going to address this later in our code, we are using this as a variable. Okay, here's the code for our button. The text on the button will say convert. We want it to span over 2 columns, so kind of be centered in the middle of our window. And later we are going to code a function called convert. So this function will execute when that button is pressed. Okay, so here is our method convert. Remember, we have to send it self. Notice that it is aligned with our init method. And we are going to get the text that the user enters, convert it to all uppercase using our upper method, and then print it to our output field. So let's run this code and see what it looks like. So we have input here, and we can put something in lowercase. And if we click convert, it is uppercase, but I should not be able to change that. I can select it, but I can't change it. But I can change that. Okay? Now, that was a lot of work for just this little window, when essentially all the bulk of the code is this. So if we ran this program, it essentially does the same thing, Sugi the cat, and it outputs it in capital letters. It's just this code allows us to have a graphical interface. Okay? On to the next tutorial.